of that particular country will refer to as the dependent population. If the independent population are more than the dependent population, then the national income will definitely be high. But if it's the other way around, the national income will be low in that particular country. Another determinant is what we refer to as economic situation. The economic situation of that particular country, the better economic situation, the higher the national income. Also, we have nature of factors of production. That one is also very important. The factors of production like land, capital, and so on, their good condition will determine the national income will be high or low in that particular country. And lastly, we have political situation. If the country is experiencing an instability in political situation, definitely it will affect the factors of production, to affect the production process of that particular country, and national income also directly will be affected. Those are the determinants of some of the common determinants of national income, whether it will be high or it will be low. Also, we have the reason why we measure national income. What is the essence of measuring national income? One, it shows the standard of living of a particular country. That is, from the per capita income we calculated, or we show how to calculate the other time, that is national income divided by population. It will help us to know the standard of living of that particular country. And remember, I said the higher the per capita income of a particular country, the higher the standard of living of that particular country. In order for us to really get the standard, how the condition of the standard of living of a particular country, national income is very important to be determined. Two, to determine the growth rate of an economy, whether the economy is growing or not, we need national income to get that. Also, to determine the contribution of international organization. If we get our national income right, then we will know how much contribution, how much help and the contribution of international organization to our economy will be determined as well. Also, to compare a country's standard of living with other countries. If you want to compare one country with the other, the national income figure and value is very important to use. To use to get this comparison between the two country or more country. And we also have for economic policies and planning. If the government of a particular country have the mind of getting, proposing some planning and policies, bringing them up, then we need the national income figures and value to get our economic policies right. Then we also have another reason why we calculate national income as the pattern, to know the pattern of expenditure of the household of individuals. We want to know which area from the calculation of the national income, part of it there is the expenditure, the consumer's expenditure. Therefore, we want to know the area of the production that the consumer, the citizens of that particular country really have much interest, where they spend more of their expenditure, of their income. That shows where they really have interest. For example, if much of their expenditures goes to the area of technological devices, then we know that they are much more interested in technological devices. And if those technological devices are, most of them are from international bodies, then we know that they appreciate more those devices that are brought from other countries. So in order to determine the pattern of the citizens' expenditure, we need the value of national income as well. And the last one, to show the performance of various sectors of the economy. We want to know each sector, what are their performances, what has been their contribution in terms of finances into the economy, and so on. So those are the reasons, some of the major reasons why we calculate the national income. Now we can also have some problems in the process of calculating the national income. What are the problems that are usually faced while calculating national income? One, insufficient technical experts. We have an insufficient number of technical experts that can really help us to calculate this, to gather all this information and put it in the right position so that they will really get the actual value of the national income. Those ones are one of the problems. 2, we have problem of double counting. Problem of double counting usually arises in the process whereby the intermediate goods are counted, and while the intermediate goods are counted, the products which they still use this intermediate good to produce will still be counted again, which will make it in double counting, and that one will not give us the actual value of the products at the market place. Also, we have subsistence production. Subsistence production also contributes to the value, to the problems of national income calculation, because most of them are not usually included because they are taking place in a rural and far away places in the country. They are not usually being brought under the consideration while calculating the national income. Also, the inflation or deflation of a particular country can cause overestimation or underestimation of that particular country's national income. If there is inflation in a particular country, there is high tendency for the country to have overestimation of its national income. And if there is deflation, then there will be underestimation of such particular country's national income. Next, we have improper valuation of depreciation. To get the actual valuation of depreciation, the value of depreciation of a particular in a particular country is usually not accurate. That is another problem. Then we have incomplete information. Most of the time, we don't have full information. We don't have complete information needed to get the accurate value for the national income. And the last one is illegal transaction. Illegal transaction usually take place in the secret arena, in the secret platform, whereby they don't have the boldness and the courage to present it at the market price where the real value will be estimated. Those are some of the common problems that are faced while calculating the national income value. Also, we have cost of living. Cost of living is another concept to understand while calculating national income. Cost of living may be defined as the amount of money an individual spends to obtain the goods and services which will sustain him or her at a particular period of time. It is thus the money cost of things such as food, shelter, clothing, medical services, and so on, which the individual consumes and which are necessary for living. Those are the major ones that we focus on. It largely depends on the prices of goods and services, that is the general price level of that particular country. If the prices of goods and services are high, the cost of living of that particular country will be high. And if the general prices are low, then the cost of living will be low. So therefore, it depends on the general price level of a particular country. Another concept we also have that I've briefly explained is what we refer to as standard of living. Standard of living may be defined as the level of economic well-being or welfare attained by individuals in a country at a particular time. The level of welfare is determined by the quantity and quality of goods and services consumed within a particular period of time. And such quality and quantity can be derived if an individual have a higher amount of financial strength to obtain those things. The higher the quality and quantity of goods and services consumed, the higher the standard of living of that particular country, and vice versa. That means the income, if the income is high for an individual in the country, the capacity and the financial strength to acquire the quality and quantity quantified goods and services will be high. Therefore, the standard of living will be high. The income per head, which is referred to as per capita income, as explained earlier, and the distribution of income are used in measuring the standard of living. And remember, I said the higher the standard, the per capita income, the higher the standard of living in a particular country. Now, briefly, let's look at one or two relationships between cost of living and standard of living. One, a rise in the cost of living will reduce the standard of living, and vice versa. That means the higher the cost of living, the lower the standard of living, and the lower the cost of living, the higher the standard of living. Indirectly, we can say the higher the general price level of goods and services in a particular country, the lower the standard of living. And the lower the general price level of goods and services in that particular country, the higher the standard of living. What that one is simply telling us is that if the general price level is high, most people will not have enough capacity to get the quality products in good quantity, and therefore you say their standard of living is very low. It is the cost of living that will determine the standard of living, and the cost of living in this case, we are talking of the general price level of goods and services. Now, we also talk about another concept called the circular flow of income. Majorly, we have 5-sector circular flow model that describe the operation of the economy and the linkages between the main sector in the economy. The 5-sector model is based on dividing the economy into 5 sectors. A sector may be defined as a part of the economy where the participants are engaged in a similar type of economic activities. And those are the 5 sectors can be referred to as individual, businesses, financial institutions, government, and international trade. When we talk of individual,